Well, hey, and welcome everybody. Today is June 3rd, 2020, and this is your Team Prosperity Virtual Financial Training. And I'm so excited to be here today with my husband, Mike Amos. This is Alana Amos, and I've put together a little presentation just about things that I've had come up throughout the week that I thought would be helpful. They were helpful to me, so I'm hoping they'll be helpful to you as well. And then I know Mike's got a great presentation for us as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull mine up and go ahead and get it started. And again, I appreciate everybody being here today. I know how valuable your time is, and I also appreciate everybody that's taken the time to listen to the recording. So I hope everybody's doing well. And like I said, it's June 3rd, 2020. It's kind of a crazy time right now, but the business is really exploding. So this is a great time, and I know that you all see it. You're here on the call, so that's super important. So what I want to start with today is just some helpful tips. And to me, I've really noticed, especially lately and all the time, in probably life in any business, that follow-up is everything. List and relist until it's resolved. That's what I do. Then they get into the CRM with notes and onto the CRM calendar, and they keep getting moved until they get resolved. So whether it's like a missed appointment, a missed ABC call, the last guy that missed an ABC call from me or with me, it took me 4 follow-ups to resolve the lead. So, but at least I know he's not interested. Usually it's not going to take that long. And then my list is getting so messy, it's going to have to become a Google sheet soon. And I just took a snapshot this morning of my list. You could see it's starting to look kind of crazy, but I've got my missed calls, my missed ABC calls, people that were interested in help calls. How many times have I followed up with some of these people that said they wanted intro calls? And you could see I have terrible handwriting, but anyways, the other thing that I've noticed is that when you talk to people, a lot of people have no idea what they do. So when you're talking to people, know what you do. Talking about how money works, financial literacy, these are all really, really positive things that people are going to want to talk about. I talked to a guy yesterday. He said he works from home selling final expense, and I was like, ugh. And then I found out he's a WFG guy. So, like, I don't know what people think they do, but talking about how money works and financial literacy is always a positive and a good way to go. So another interesting thing that I've noticed while doing intro calls this week is that I kept getting told that people were waiting for me in my Google Meet, which I didn't even know what it was. So I tried fixing it, and luckily Mike helped me. To fix that, you have to edit your Google Calendar, not the Calendarly link or the Calendarly setup that's linked to your Google Calendar. So if you're getting that, shoot Mike an email, and he will help you like he helped me. It's pretty easy to fix. So it's just an editing thing in your settings. So anyways, so this last week, I had 10 people that reshared one of my posts on LinkedIn. And anytime anybody reshares a post or comments on my post, if they're a second connection, I invite them to connect. Because if they're going to have engagements on my post and they're going to like and comment on my post or share my post with all my name and my profile and everything to everybody they know, I want them to do that all the time. So I want them to be a first connection. So I'm going to connect with those people because they're having positive engagements with me in my post. And I want that to keep recirculating, and I want positive reinforcement on my shares that get reshared by others. If they're doing it once, probable that they're going to do it again. So go back, look to see who reshared your stuff, make sure you're connected with them. If people have positive engagements on your post, they like, they comment, they share your post, make sure you're friends with them. That way they can see your next post and do the same thing for you next time. So it's just a little helpful tip that helps me. And on your own post, you know, you want to engage with those people that are liking and commenting. So if somebody comments, I'll like the comment, and then later I'll go back and reply to the comment. I'm just going to keep strategically recirculating that. And then as kind of like a final thing, if it's a really good post, you want it to go through again, you can actually like your own post to recirculate it. But like Mike says, that's kind of like giving yourself a high five. Still acceptable most of the time. So just a few ideas. You know, you want your things to keep recirculating and to keep getting relevant and to start to catch and become more viral. And that's how you get more attention, more people that want to link with you and see what you have to say, more people that are going to click on your profile and see what you're about. So when you're speaking to others, and, you know, I've had a ton of intro calls lately, and this is what I've gotten. These are some of the things that I talk about, right? I'm trying to always be solution-based. So when I'm talking to that person, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to help that person? How are we going to bring value to this person? You know, a lot of the time, if they're happy with what they're doing, they don't have to change anything if they don't want to. They can just offer more services, more answers, more solutions to their clients. Also, if they don't have a, you know, web presence, we have great tools, web assets, campaigns, things that will help you and people find you. You know, you can add a virtual division to your existing business at basically no cost. Kind of a no-brainer. You know, you could add services. You could offer more solutions to your existing clients in your existing book of business. You know, with something like GMAS, they can blast out an email to every single one of their clients all at once with some solutions and some changes and some new things that have come out. Monetizing the network and the book of business that they've spent their entire lives building, their entire career building, is attractive for people, especially now and probably always. So these are some of the talking points that I talk to people about trying to add value to what they're doing. And like David said right before we started recording, we seem to be attracting a higher and higher caliber of people because we know what we're doing, you know, we're rocking it out there. And as we get more confident and as we start to define our partner persona and our client persona better, we're able to target the marketing and target the people that we're talking to more effectively. So anyways, adding value to others. You know, people need our help more than ever right now. So it's just so important what we do. And a lot of us are learning to be financial professionals right now, and I think that that's fantastic. But I wanted to go over just a few key points that I just want, you know, to be clear because I want people to know all that a financial professional does. It's more than just typing the application into iGo and e-signing it. Right? The financial professional needs to track the policy and stay on top of all outstanding requirements, and this needs to be done daily on every policy. I do this first thing in the morning, like 7 to 8 o'clock before anything opens. That way I don't throw away valuable time doing it. Once a day is sufficient, but you want to make sure there's no new things that opened up and that every time something's submitted, it gets processed within 2 or 3 business days. So really, really important to be able to work with new business, with the underwriter, sometimes a supervisor, sometimes a regional rep to get the correct rating for the client, right? We always want to fight for the client to get the correct rating. And, you know, we represent both, right? We want to make sure that as a representative to that carrier that we're doing the right thing and the ethical thing and we're asking all the questions, but we also want to make sure that the client is getting the correct results based on everything that we know. They need to know where to get the forms, how to fill the forms, how to upload the forms back. They need to know all the pre-sale and after-sale compliance that has to do with that sale in that state. We're seeing a lot of that right now on New York that needs extra stuff, as New York does. And that's important. You know, nobody can do that for that person. You know, the financial professional needs to know about this, and we can help with all of this stuff, but this is expected that they would be doing this and learning how to do this ongoing with every policy. So the person making the recommendation, the financial professional, needs to be able to understand every aspect of the policy they're recommending and why it's the solution to the problem or the solution to avoid the problem that the client needs help fixing. So, and then they also need to service the policy and stay in touch with the clients and be ready to service the policy for questions or changes that meet the client's ongoing changing needs. Policy service is really important. You want to make sure that the financial professional is touching with the clients, or, that it's being serviced. So, like, I personally like to become the financial professional for the whole family. Does the spouse have or need coverage? What about the kids? What about the grandkids? What about friends that are worried right now with what's going on, or others that say they need help? I want to let them know that we're open for referrals. We're happy to help anybody that they care about and that need our help. I tell them to put my number in their cell phone, put it on their fridge, tell the beneficiaries I'm the one to contact if something happens or if they need to file a claim. Of course, they can always call the number on their policy. They can always call the carrier directly, but you really want them calling you. And then if you need to direct them to the carrier to make like a payment change, like we don't take payments, we don't take payment changes, but we're happy to take the call from the client and give them the number, give them the support, and let them know somebody's in their corner. And that's really, really important. Another big announcement, this just came out, Hawaii 2021. WFG usually does at least 2 trips a year. I know in 2020 they did Hawaii and they did Ireland. Looks like 2021 they've already released the information for Hawaii, which is pretty exciting. The contest started the day before yesterday on the 1st. It's going to run all the way until November 30th. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can qualify. There's a elite trip for 30 couples, and then there's a main trip for another 500 couples. And it's broken down top 10 personal, top 370 SMD base shops, top 75 super bases, top 20 super teams, top 5 people who joined in 2020, and 20 president's picks. Of course, for qualifications, you need to be in good standing on the platform. You need to, have a good net point ratio and persistency. It's important that the points stay on and that we're writing quality business that, is beneficial for everyone. And points must be in the system. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then there's some verbiage here about the base recruiting, looking at a net point ratio if necessary. So pretty exciting stuff. And I don't know if you were on the call yesterday, what I got out of it is that, and I've talked to Bill Mitchell about this in person, that he is the CEO of WealthWave, and he's, a multi-million dollar earner, and these are the books that he highly recommends. The 12-week year is something that we do as a team on an ongoing basis. I'm sure Mike is going to talk about today that we're going to start a new 12-week year here in the next few days. And then the other book that he recommends is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. So just wanted to point that out. I know both of these should be on Audible if you want to listen to them. And that's pretty much what I have, lean on us. We're here to help. One of the great things about having a tier system is you don't need to know how to do all the stuff. You can grow into different roles or never grow into like a role like a financial professional. We have all kinds of different options and great ways you can build your business. So anyways, all we have is now. Let's go for it. I'm so excited to bring up Mike. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, it is June, and usually during the summertime, things can slow down. You want to work continuous, and you want to develop that rhythm of activity that is continuous. But typically the summertime can be a slower period of time. However, this year, with things being so different and so disrupted, who knows what's going to happen. So you just want to kind of continue to do what you do, knowing that if you do it over a period of time, that things are going to materialize for you. So like I said, we are going into the summer period of time, and not only can you get activity completed, results in during the summer, but that pipeline that you build over June, July, and rolling into August can set up the most important time of the year, which is August, September, October, which can really explode your business. No matter where you are, and no matter how new you may be, you can get a lot done in small, compressed time periods if you follow a number of guidelines that we set up, follow our lead, and most importantly, follow the system so you have something to plug these people into. Understand what we have going on and understand the 4 types of business strategies, whether it be position, innovation, disruption, execution. Understand where we stand in those blocks, how we extract value, what that means for our potential partners, what that means for the ability to serve the client side. This is a digital gold rush. It's been happening over the last 20 years or so. It continues on. Our industry was late to the game. Doesn't matter. We got first mover advantage. So we do have some significant advantages in the marketplace with the partners, the assets, the systems that we have set up. Understand not only for yourself, but as importantly, for the other people that you talk to, if people don't understand what this means for a business opportunity, they're probably not in the right persona that you're looking for. Also, I know that we like to talk about the employee to entrepreneur, and that's great. But some of your best partners are probably going to be the people that are already on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. Like Alana said, when you're getting in front of people and trying to explain to them how they can extract value out of an existing network, add additional streams of revenue and income without having to do everything they probably don't want to do, which is handle the client services, making the sales, plugging into that assembly line, plugging into our assets and our model, somebody can take what they've been doing for a period of time, align themselves with us, open up more services, and open up more streams of revenue and income for themselves. So this is all about, in this economy right now and going forward, the ability to network, the ability to market yourself, and the ability to build alliances going forward that will be mutually beneficial. Not parasitic, there's a lot of those out there, but mutually beneficial where both sides get what they're looking for. System's going to keep you guys from just throwing people out there and wondering what happened. The system will allow you to know exactly what happens, who works, who doesn't work, when do they fall off, and you can evaluate the potential possibilities of why they fell off and tighten up that persona. It's also going to give you an exit strategy. It's also going to give you ability to create distribution. So simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Don't make things more complicated than they have to be. So yes, we're looking for superstars, but we're also looking for people that are humble enough to submit to a system and understand the advantages of working that system. Remember that disruption equation. When you have disruption in the marketplace, when you bring innovation to the marketplace, it creates new market values. So when you're switching around this value-based equation to figure out, where we fit in, where our partners fit in, where you can potentially build, how big you can build, it's all about understanding your innovation, your disruption, what that means for potential partners, how that services the client need in a much more bigger, efficient way. So you've got a lot of advantages here. Understand that when you disrupt or when you change that equation around, there's value points sitting in there. You extract the value points out. In this industry, that is a large amount of money that will be on the move. Does not matter. We talk about two sides of your business, client, partner. They can be very fluid, meaning a partner can end up a client can end up a partner, vice versa. A lot of things that can happen. However, what you have to understand is that on both sides, if you leave it up to other people, nothing is going to happen. And I promise you, because I see it for myself sometimes, I see it for my other partners, nothing will happen, period. And that is a promise to you. If you're not aggressive enough, not in pushing stuff down people's throat in terms of trying to recruit people that don't make a good fit, trying to cram clients into stuff that doesn't make sense to them, I'm talking about resolve leads. If you've made a presentation, if you've made a video entry that went out to somebody, you need to follow up. You're trying to develop on the front end a yes formula. When I say yes, I mean yes, getting eyes on your assets. We're not talking about yes client, yes partner, just yes, eyes on the assets. We can build that pipeline. From that point, you have to follow up with people, and you have to make sure that you're resolving a good percentage of the leads based on communication and not non-communication. It's very important. There are business models, not just in our industry, but all around you guys, and we're seeing this every day. They're on fire, that are burning to the ground, and quite frankly, you've got a lot of boards, you've got a lot of companies, you've got a lot of individuals right now not really sure what to do going forward, if they're going to be able to make it, how they're going to make it, how they're going to adapt. I was just reading a couple of days ago that some of the casinos, I don't know if this is all of them, but some of the casinos in Vegas are going to be opening where you can no longer touch the cards. The dice tables are going to be, spread out. So business models have changed, and it'll be different coming out of this. Our business model is going to be adopted quicker into the marketplace based on what's going on. So what we expected maybe 5 years out, probably happening right now. So if you want something new, you have to stop doing something old, and that's very important. So what we've done is a number of years ago saw where the industry needs to head. Now you guys coming in, the adoption rate is there. People understand it's no more about whether or not our business model can survive, whether or not the way that we do business can survive, but is their model going to survive? So we've completely done a 180, and you're in a power position here. Learn how to go out in the marketplace with confidence and talk about yourself, talk about your personal brand and what you have to offer on the backside with your partners. I always like to evaluate myself and my partners as if we were, a publicly traded company. And if so, would we invest into that company? So Mike Amos, Alana Amos, whatever it might be, if we were incorporated and we were out there, a publicly traded company, how's our performance lately? Are we on a downtrend? Are things not looking too well? Have we kind of flatlined in terms of, not really seeing any movement up or down? Or have we hit that uptrend? Now, as a investor, as someone who's looking to buy stock, go long on stock, we want something that's probably in an uptrend. We want something that's on the move up. Now, if you're on the downtrend, you need to know how to recognize that for yourself and take a little bit of a time to do some self-reflection, self-inventory, and realize what's going on, why, and how to fix that. If you're flatline, you need to probably get back in touch with your goals. What's going to motivate you to do that, because we've essentially just kind of gone into a neutral state here. However, if you're on the upside here, you need to build on that momentum. And on that note, if you're a manager, if you're building an office, building multiple offices, you need to know who's working, who's aggressively out there trying to make it happen. And your time as an investment needs to be spent into that. Yes, we're not putting money in shares. We're putting time into people, and it has to go to a good investment. The way Alana talked today and what she's been doing with her follow-up, she's killing it. She's on an uptrend. David Chase worked extremely hard. I would put time into his business. So this is what you have to understand for yourself, what to recognize, how to correct things and identify them, but also as a manager and a builder. Can't be everything to everybody, and you quite frankly can't spend time with somebody who's not willing and trying to make it happen. This is an opportunity where you're not at the backs of the expense of other people. It's not a parasitic relationship between you and the client. You're not trying to manufacture interest in what we're doing. It's already there. The need's already there. It's a huge business opportunity. Financial matters and money challenges are a lot of people's number one fear. So what you have to understand is especially if you bring people in from this industry, a lot of them have been programmed to sell. Get a lead, sell it. Get a lead, sell it. When you stop selling, start serving, relationships equal transactions. And that's why we talk about in the marketplace, prospecting is a lot easier because you're just talking to people. There's no hidden agendas. There's nothing you're trying to accomplish other than having the activity necessary, opening up enough conversations to let people talk about themselves, to get that information that uncovers a problem that we can offer a solution and action step. So remember, serving people, creating relationships, that's where the transactions are going to come from. So when you're talking to people, whether it's a client or partner, this works very well. Ultimately, what we're trying to figure out from the other person, whether it's the business opportunity, client service needs, whatever it is where are they now? Where are they right now? Where do they want to go? And how are they going to get there? And then how do I fit in there? How does the business fit in there? How do certain products fit in there? Whatever it is. Where are they now? Where do they want to go? How do they get there? It's like taking a trip. Where do I want to go? We're going to build a map to get there, and we're going to get there. Then we want them to realize one or more of the following things. They can't do it alone. They can't do it fast enough, or they don't know how to do it. Works on the partner and the client side. They can't do it alone, can't do it fast enough, or they just don't know how to do it. Once again, the amount of infrastructure and partnerships from the business opportunity side, the financial education on the client side, this is what you should frame conversations and frame marketing around. Now, going a step further, on the partner side, we dive in a little bit deeper because partners on the business opportunity side want to know three things. Is this real? Can I do it? And what help am I going to get? Now, these questions right here, come in a lot of different forms, a lot of different language and verbiage, but essentially it's three things. And from our side, we want to know three things. What have you been doing with your life professionally, so we get a good idea? Do you understand what we're doing and share our vision? And then what's going to motivate you to see this through? Remember, having the vision, saying, oh, yeah, this makes sense to me. I understand what you guys are doing. It's only part of the overall recipe. They have to be excited. They have to be motivated, because being in the trenches of something day in, day out, building it, you need the motivation. You need a clear vision. You need a lot of things that are going to push you through those days. If someone doesn't have that, you need to move on to another person. Last few meetings that we've had, or we go through a cycle where we do some development meetings, then we do some specific technical meetings like LinkedIn, Facebook, things like that. We went through a few weeks of technical stuff. We're going through a couple weeks of development stuff. We'll go back starting next week to some more in-depth stuff that will help you guys learn, grow, and extract value off these platforms. Some of these meetings are okay just to get through once. Some of these meetings you actually need to go back through and probably stop, take notes, implement the LinkedIn algorithm, the stories of transformation, Facebook advertising, the tier 1 contact. All of these things in the YouTube channel are great things to go back, revisit, and perfect what you're trying to do in the assembly line, mainly what I've been talking about, area concentration marketing. Like Alana said, the new 12-week year is starting June 8th, which is this coming Monday. We had a sign-up in the Facebook group. I let you know on the Sunday email that went out. It's available. If you haven't signed up, you can text, email, call, sign up on the Facebook group as a comment. Whoever signed up in the next couple of days, I think we'll make cutoff tomorrow. I'll send another email out with the tracking sheets, the prep videos, anything you need to get ready. Remember, this is a process. It's not going to be an overnight thing, and if you do this a number of times, you're going to have successful ones, unsuccessful ones, but like I said, the ongoing process of self-development with a time management system like this will greatly improve your personal as well as your professional life. We all have the same amount of time in the day, whether I do nothing and lay on the couch or whether I get 8 things done off a list. It's all the same. It's still going to go by tick by tick. So what we're trying to do in the 24 hours is we're trying to compress time frames, put more value on that compressed time frame, and develop a management system that values the day more, extracts more value out of the day, and over that time period, that 12-week year, hopefully we build a system where we get more done in 12 weeks or a quarter than most people get done in a year. One of the things that the 12-week year also teaches you is you have goals and you have that vision. You have the vision that's going to get you excited about going and doing the activities, doing the tactics that are going to make these things happen. And then we've got a scoring system to show you if your tactics are good enough to reach you to your goals. And all of these things, very data-driven, which I love. But every single day, you have to remember why you're doing this, why you're doing anything. There's a reason why people, when they're getting married, when they have reunions, when they're going on special trips, they get to the gym and they work out and they get in good shape because they have something they're working towards to look good for. Same thing here. If you don't revisit why you're doing this, it's going to become a grind. Stop doing what doesn't work. And this is what the 12-week year also teaches you. If something's not working, then don't continue to do it. So it's going to teach you what you need to do, what you don't need to do, and how to organize your time effectively to make sure that ultra important stuff that's going to lead you to your goals gets done. Stuff under that, if it gets done, great. If it doesn't, not a big deal. What gets in the way of your success is just lack of clarity, lack of motivation, the wrong association, bad habits, and self-doubt. All of these things can, in our systems that we teach, being surrounded by like-minded entrepreneurs, you get a lot of things that will help propel you to be successful if you allow it in our business, in our team, in our groups. You just got to make sure you know what you're doing, how you're doing it, but most importantly, why you're doing it. Who's this for? Another thing that you guys can get better at, if you're on the assembly line, you're trying to be a financial professional. Alana went through and explained why it's important as a financial professional to understand your role. One of the things that I've really started to do on both sides of my business that we've been working on over the last number of months is framing the conversation. So if somebody's getting a book, if somebody's sitting down for an F&A, you want to make sure that, yes, the building blocks, you score the report, but also visuals help very well. So the other day, if Financial education, the guy got the book. His emergency fund was fine. He had little to no debt, a couple pieces of real estate. Cash flow was fine. Protection of the wealth wasn't really discussed. I let him know that we have that. But these were the two things that he needed help on, and I could help him out with. So just reinforcing, hey, this is why we're doing this. This is what we're doing. This is why we're exploring this to put you in a better position. People, you can't just tell people something one time and expect them to understand. If it's important to the process, keep drilling it in their head because they're forming that buying decision. And when it's reinforced with reasons why they should do it that makes sense to them, they will take that next step. And remember, when you're talking to people about the building blocks, about the money milestones, you have to know exactly what's going on in there. Well, cash flow, we help people improve cash flow. Debt management, eliminate debt quickly and, make your money work for you, convert debt into wealth. All of these things that, when you learn how money works, can put on your side. Emergency fund, pretty self-explanatory, prepare for the emergencies. Proper protection, take care of things. But also it's a hedge. If you have assets, it's a hedge. If something happens, you don't have to prematurely attack those assets. If you have absolutely nothing, no assets, it's a hedge from you having to go into bankruptcy, foreclosure, sacrifice your standard of living because of what's happening here. Once that's done, asset accumulation, guaranteed retirement, tax-free retirement, avoid market losses, and then create and secure a legacy. So remember, free financial needs analysis sounds like a sales pitch. When you explain kind of what goes in here, why, and how we help people, you may garner more interest. Let's talk about if somebody says, you know what, I really need help with cash flow. Well, what are they doing? Why are they need cash flow right now? What's been going on? Are they on the wrong side of the cash flow quadrant? So if somebody comes with cash flow, they're not going to go in, and there may be opportunities inside their budget to reduce some expenses, but they're telling you right now they've got an income problem with cash flow mostly. So what you want to do is be able to flip that conversation. Like I said, it's very fluid, partner to client. Somebody's having cash flow issues. If they're qualified, they fit in the persona, open up opportunities on the business side as a way to resolve that or get that solution for that particular block. On the protection side, remember, we talked about this a minute ago, it's a hedge. The protection side is not anything fun to buy. It's not an impulse buy. It's not exciting. It's stuff that we know that we need. And so we positively push people to get it done. And when you're reinforcing the building block, the money milestone, now you've got this checked off, easier for them to understand. I've got 5 check marks and I need 2 more. I understand what I need to concentrate on. So remember, elementary kindergarten approach, that's how the book was written, and that's how you guys need to approach a lot of the people that you're talking to. The retirement pyramid, so where do we fit in here? Where, well, we've got, guaranteed income, long-term assets, insurance, investments. We take care of a lot of that in our conversations, our education, and our financial planning. And this is basically another thing that I love to help the client understand what we're doing and why. So the retirement income is going to come from different areas. It's going to come from savings and assets. Do we have savings? Do we have assets that are going to spin off anything? Depending on the age, is Social Security going to be available? If so, what's the approximate amount? If they're of a certain age, then we really don't even want to count that and explain to them why. Most people understand. 401k IRA, are they contributing to it? Are they getting the match? Are they not contributing to it? And then find the pension. Remember, mostly pensions are a thing of history. So when you take that into consideration and look at the retirement income puzzle, you as an advisor agent need to help probably create these self-directed pensions, whether it's IUL product, whether it's annuity product. This is all part. So the other day, talking with somebody that had the savings and assets covered, real estate, emergency funds, some additional savings. Social Security was an unknown because of the age. 401k IRA in place. This is what we worked on. It makes sense when people see graphics, when they put the pieces together and understand this isn't the best benefit. Why? Because as we want that standard of living, that income number at retirement, it's our job to get them there. When we add it up with or without Social Security, how do we get the rest of the way? Mr. and Mrs. Client, let me show you. Also, you have to come to that realization that a lot of people not knowing how money works will have unrealistic expectations. If somebody's 50 years of age, they want to retire at 65 and their budget is $200-300 a month, you're only going to be able to get so far. And people have to understand you're not in a berating or belittling way, but you want to further educate the client to make sure they understand, you're right here. If we earn X percent, this assumes a 9% average annual return. That's big in this interest rate environment, but nevertheless, it serves its point to make them understand compounding factor, time works for us against us depending on where we are. We need to play catch up. That catch up comes from more of a monetary obligation. And you want to find out what that obligation is per month. What are they looking to put away to work on either building blocks you've identified or their goals, dreams, whatever it is. If you're putting stuff out there that they're not willing to commit to, you can preemptively overcome that whole process of doing the research and coming back to them with something they don't want or don't want to afford by asking them, what is that amount you can put away to work on these dreams, work on these goals, work on these building blocks, work on your financial future? Stop, be quiet, absorb that number, because they're telling you now when you come back with a solution that's within everything, it's within their needs, within their budget, within what they've committed to, you should be good to go. Remember, frame those conversations, lead people to an endpoint. All you're doing, partner, client, you're uncovering a problem, you're doing an analysis and offering a solution. Remember, the action step cannot come without a solution. That solution cannot ever come without uncovering the problem. Problem comes from the information in the marketplace, the bottom of that pyramid. Rapport, trust, credibility. You've got some great partners, some great marketing assets, and your personal brand should do the rest. It's always about risk reward. And when somebody looks at this business opportunity and if they don't have the money, that's one thing. But if they look at this as something they need to think about, whether or not they want to invest $200, not in the business, but it's really in themselves. Once again, that probably violates, I know it violates my partner persona, should violate yours. When you look at this opportunity, the reward is heavily skewed to that side. And then when you look at what we do for the clients, also heavily skewed to the reward side when we do what's in the best interest of the client. And that's always what you guys should be doing. How to organize your day at Virtual Financial. What do you want to do? Well, the 12-week year teaches us some things that we should be doing every single day. And quite frankly, guys, it's the uncomfortable stuff that you don't want to do that's going to propel your business to the next level and get your income and your revenue to those benchmarks that you've set that start qualifying you for bonus money, start qualifying you for paid trips. And once that begins to roll, it does not stop. So your day is basically two activities. Business activity, it's whatever that you need to do in the assembly line based on your own activity or other people's activity that are now in the CRM in some part of the process, some part of the circle. You have to get that done. Some of it's on your calendar, some of it's in your task, whatever, get it done. Now, the other part of the business is the marketing activity. That's going to give us the pipeline that leads into the CRM, that leads into the funnel, that leads into the circle, that allows us to go back and have the business activity to complete every day. You've got to do both. These are your obligations. This sets up your business. And online advertising has to be a part of it. If somebody comes in and they have little to no online presence, that's okay. If they're willing to learn and they have some type of desire to be online and do this online, we can help them. On the other hand, if somebody does not like technology, they do not want to open platforms, they don't like, whatever it is about A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever the reason is, that violates your partner persona because there has to be some interest there. Because if there's zero interest there or flat out just, an inability or an unwillingness to do it, they will not be successful in this business. Because part of what we do is we build an audience. We continue to build that audience every single day. Every single day, we're engaging with a good percentage of that audience with value-based content, education, information, entertaining, whatever it might be. And then as you do that, the last step is sell your audience. Remember, if you're in front of 1,000 people physically in a room, there's a percentage of those people that are going to need something. Somebody needs to go to the dentist. Somebody needs new tires. Somebody needs something for their kids. Somebody's computer just went out. So if you do the process of building and engaging quite naturally through that process, people at certain points will need stuff. And if that falls into the realm of what you do and they have their rapport, trust, credibility associated with you, many times they will come back to you, or by staying in front of them through things like the Wealth Wave system, you get to the right person at the right time when the needs are there, and you're able to service that person.
Remember, part of building an audience is understand your markets. And I think the common market, remember, if you're just building the audience for purposes of not only building the audiences on a specific platform, but building your pipeline inside the WealthWave 360 system to get that content out, get those email campaigns, everything that we do for the further education and action steps, common market's a great way to find a loose association. I went to college with you, not even the same, parameters as far as the 4 years, but we're both alumni of this. We used to work here. We're members of this organization. That loose commonality, or what we call the common market, that bridge will allow you that rapport and a little bit of trust and credibility to open the conversation. So don't neglect or don't, not use this common market, because it's very valuable, especially on a platform like LinkedIn or other social media platforms. And really, it's just about that bridge of connection like I was talking about. People are like you in some small way, even if it's very minute, and that bridge of connection will buy you 60 seconds, 120 seconds, whatever it might be, and that's many times all you need. When you're engaging your target audience, you need to make sure that you understand who you're talking to, and that's why, you can set up different campaigns in WealthWave. If you're using online automation for your social media accounts, you can build folders, name them a certain way. You have to speak to an insurance agent. You have to speak to an entrepreneur. You have to speak to Gen X, Boomer, Millennial. You have to speak to a person as they are. Announce what they are, speak to them as that, and then start to, like we always talk about, solve known or perceived problems in the marketplace. Percentage of those people will continue to raise their hand if you do it in an effective way. Not a sales pitch, not a company pitch, but you get good at what you do online and telling stories and building that personal brand, things start to materialize for you. You've got to use social media effectively to build your business. And we always talk about this. A small percentage of social media gets all the visibility. So what you want to do is, A, recognize that you're probably in the other large percentage, but you can transfer over to that small percentage by listening to us, doing more research, implementing, and just having a dedication. If social media in the next 24, 36 months can do something for your business that you want, but you have to put in the work now to get there, it's definitely worth it. Remember, we're playing the long game. Yes, you have active linear income opportunities here, but you also have huge passive leveraged income opportunities, and that's going to happen by setting up your infrastructure. That includes your digital, includes your personal brand, and includes the human element that we're trying to attract to help us build this. Don't get overwhelmed. Start with what you know. Start with what we recommend, which is LinkedIn. Once you master or feel like you're doing well on LinkedIn, you can move to Facebook and then move to the other ones. If you find yourself on these platforms for hours a day, you're not doing it correctly. I'm probably on LinkedIn 20 minutes a day, maybe 30 minutes, depending on what I need to do. But in the beginning, it might take you a little longer, but when you establish that routine, no more than a half hour a day should be enough time to get everything you need done. So set up your routine, understand what's important, and understand what you're trying to do. Remember, build, engage, sell from a platform incorporates both sides of our business, the consumers, the clients, those who need financial education, need products and services from us, and then the producers, those that can help us in the marketplace with our mission, how money works, employee to entrepreneur, that are looking for the business opportunity. So both clients and partners come from platforms, and it's a very fluid situation. You can introduce something to somebody, and it ends up being an opposite outcome, vice versa. Just understand what you're doing, and when you learn how to talk and prospect to people and let other people talk, you get the information, and then you can start to read those people. Can I help this person? Is it a client conversation? Is it a partner conversation? Or is it neither? Also, these messages work, and like I said, Alana's follow-up has been on point lately, and we always talk about that intro message, the how money work, or the intro message, the help message, the how money works. These aren't things that we require you to do. You can make up whatever messages you want, but you need to stay in front of people. Most people will get that one message, that intro message coming to you when you connect with them. Sometimes it's automated, which is very off-putting for me, but get in front of people. Just see if you can get them on the phone for an intro call. We're finding that 6 to 10% of the people, if you do this right, will get on the phone with you from an intro message. Now, a help message, there's another 6 to 10% of the remaining population that said no or didn't answer that intro message that would get on there. And then how money works is running at about 3 to 8%. So you're looking at 18 to as much as 28% of your new connections on LinkedIn. Now, the numbers are lower in the Facebook Messenger, so we need to look at that and analyze a better way to approach that. It works, just doesn't work at these percentages. So if you're looking at LinkedIn and you're looking to get 15 to 28% of your new connections on the phone within 3 messages, then you need to, A, make sure you're following the message sequence, but also B, like Alana said, to get your percentages really moving up, you need to understand if somebody agrees to one and then there's no communication, that's your fault. That's falling through the crack. You need to follow up. You need to stay in front of people. A lot of followed up with somebody, I believe it's 4 times, 3 policies is coming out of that and a partner. So understand that when we always talk about follow-up, it's not just to be a broken record. It's because if you're not following up, somebody else is, and somebody else is going to get that business, and you're letting things fall through the crack, and that means lost revenue and incoming growth for you. Build your brand. Build your brand online. We always talk about, the process of build, engage, sell. You need to connect. You need to make sure you stay on top of your messages. You need to follow posts that play to the algorithm. You need to have interactions with the notifications, and you need to get some groups and become active. It's really not that hard. Once you establish the rhythm of activity, it doesn't take up too much time, but the constant process of what you're doing, getting better, learning, trying to get more visibility, trying to develop that yes formula to get eyes on your assets. It's all building the pipeline. The greater pipeline you build, the more outcomes you have. The more outcomes you have, the more percentage of those will be positive on the client or partner side. Make sure you congratulate your network. Remember, if you're just in there pitching and selling, you're going to get ignored. If you've got a nice list and all those messages are logged in to, anybody you've had communication with, so they can come back and I can read anything that anybody's ever sent me. And if you just got, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positive interactions in there, guess what? When somebody does see something that might pique their interest and they go back and read the rest of that stuff, that's just reaffirming the rapport, trust, credibility that you've established. Building relationships is what's going to build this business. Every single day you have to do certain stuff. If you take breaks, it's not a start and a stop business. If you open a business of your own and decided just to close it down for 3 weeks and come back, well, what are you walking into? Probably nothing good. Same thing here. You can't just walk away for periods of time. If you want to do this business, got to be consistent. And if you do that, you can join the Top Earners Club and make a lot of money here and make a big impact on people. But it starts with you, and you've got to have a dedication every single month to do your part. I call it the 3x3 on the partner-client side. I think if you make a goal to have 3 partners and 3 clients coming in every single month, on the partner side, that 3 direct should fuel a base shop growth of 10, and then the other 70% or 7 of those would come from your office. If you have 7 at the end of the month and you did 0, where you can see where your personal direct activity makes or breaks your month sometimes. So you've got to be committed to what you're going to do. You have to set the example and then expect that from other people. And when you're doing every day and you're calling, really not realizing that it's not an optional skill. If you don't do it, it's going to cause reluctancy. People hate rejection, and the process of not doing something for a period of time, whether it's going to the gym or picking up the phone, gym seems a lot further away. That phone seems a lot heavier. You're never going to change your life until you change something you do daily. You've got to do positive things, set yourself up daily. And like we always say, if you set up a savings account and you deposit no money into it, come someday in the future, you try to make a big withdrawal out of that, it's ludicrous to think money's there. Same thing here with your business. You're not putting in the phone time. You're not putting in the marketing time, and then to expect something to happen in 6, 9, 12 months, it's just an impossibility. So what you have to do is set forth the motion and the activity that's going to create that you want. I'm not going to keep harping on this, but follow up. Please follow up. If you're good at creating leads and you don't have the business growth that you're looking for, I guarantee it's the follow-up. And every day, if you do what we tell you to, follow our lead, and then we're having other people come in that are also, coming with marketing backgrounds and other things that can dramatically help, our unit and our team here will be introducing those people. But every day, if you do the correct things, you're making data-driven decisions, not emotional decisions, not things based on fear or greed, but data-driven decisions that make sense for you, that you understand, and that you have a good understanding about what the outcome is going to be. Every day you need to be working on the system. Don't let people stray from the system in your groups, because that means you're going to have to hold it together. You're the glue without the system, and it's hard to be the glue when you've got virtual presences all over the world, all over the country right now. They've got to be doing the same thing. Remember, if a McDonald's in California, McDonald's in Florida, I go there, there may be a little differentiation, but I pretty much know what to assume. Same thing here. Virtual financial office in Florida, virtual financial office in California should be doing the same things. And you've got to build your brand every day. You've got to have a focus. You've got to be genuine. You've got to learn how to tell stories. Remember, if something happens to you, tell it. You know, like Gary Vee told a guy who was trying to compete with large mortgage companies. How do I do that? Gary Vee told him, hey, if you're going over to somewhere and you hit a speed bump or a pothole and you spill coffee on yourself, people want to hear about that. Be real, be authentic, tell your story. You will attract the right people, because over and beyond everything we're trying to do with personas, you have to like the person. You have to want to work with them. If you don't, you're going to dread hearing from them. That's not the organization you want to build. Be consistent, be ready and willing to fail, have a positive impact out there, follow successful examples, live your brand, let other people help tell your story. You know, Lana was talking about the reshares earlier, and have fun. Also, every day you need to understand your role and dominate that role. Get really good at it, but also understand if you're growing into the other roles, how to do so, you know, a growth at a reasonable rate. That's what we're looking for. Don't jump into stuff that you're not qualified for, that's going to overwhelm you and make you have less enthusiasm towards the business. Grow at a rate where you're comfortable and that you get the help that you need in the beginning to make money, get the partner, revenue, income growth, client growth, to where when you start to step into these other roles, it's actually something that you're starting to develop, build, and manage. And every single day, the key is to keep educating yourself on social media, on recruiting, on marketing, what's going on in our industry, self-improvement, management skills, closing sales is a big one. If you're a financial professional and I'm an inviter and I send something over your way, if I've done my job, I expect you to do your job. Now, if there's a problem with that lead, we'll talk to the inviter or marketer. But if it's solid, there's a need, everything lines up, financial professionals should be able to close that sale. Not going to be able to close them all, but it should be a high percentage. What that does gives that inviter or marketer confidence to go back out there and do that again over and over and over again, because it means money. If you're not doing your job, they lose confidence, they lose activity, and they end up drifting and leaving. So everybody has to do their job to optimal performance to make this thing work. There's incredible benefits to learning new things. Don't stop learning. And every single day, you guys, we have to work on bettering the client customer experience. Little things that you can do to further educate, to further help people, to further make your look online something that, you know, attracts people. And every single day, remember, this is not a big financial commitment coming in for a partner, but we do require commitment, and we do require sweat equity investing. That means coming in and working your butt off to make this happen, because the human element, the people part of this, we have to provide. We're a leadership factory. Understand what you're getting into, understand what your partners are getting into, and understand the commitment that needs to happen from both sides to make this work. Your personal success equation. Remember, if you got passion, talent, association, action, and faith, and put that together in an organized way, this is going to work for you. A leadership factory is going to reward hard work. It's going to reward development on the entrepreneurial side, self-development, leadership. This is how you get there. Develop a personal success equation, follow it, understand the components of it, and why each are important. If you don't do this stuff every day, you're going to start to have a lack of forward momentum. And in this business, what that means and what that feels like is the dominoes are falling in on you, the doors are closing in on you. So understand what you need to do to avoid that and stay into a forward momentum. Design your future. Every single day we get to, like I said, we can choose to lay on the couch all day and binge watch Netflix, or we can choose to go out and try to make this happen, educate ourselves, having that activity, open the conversations, building the pipeline. So it's our choice. As human beings, we get that choice. We design our future. If we're not actively working to get the future we want, we're still designing the future. People need to understand that. And you need to make sure that you invest in yourself. It's the most important investment you can make. You've got to be able to go out there and understand that when you do certain things, those are going to have an action and a reaction. And if you're setting yourself up for positive reactions, things really start to materialize and grow at a speed for you. We give everybody an equal opportunity starting out. It doesn't matter whether you went to high school, college, master's, PhD. Everybody starts at the same place. So you need to understand for yourself and as you're training partners and building organizations, what holds people back, their personality defects, their self-sabotage. Identify them on the front side and keep a large majority of those out. But if it's fixable on the inside, work with those people. But sometimes for ourselves, we need to understand what's holding us back, what we're doing, how we're self-sabotaging, and we need to release that weight or anchor and move forward. Consistency is what's going to get it done. Good days, bad days, good weeks, bad weeks, even sometimes good weeks or good months, bad months. But the consistency of your activity, the consistency of your desire to make this happen over time compounded will get you where you want to go. And you've really got to understand that if you lead by example and you're able to motivate people in a way that inspires them, you're able to be that mentor, you're able to establish a cohesive team that works together, all that want to win and understand the mutually beneficial relationships and the organization as a whole, what it can do. And then on the other side, inspire, coach, and create that vision. Help people. You've got an organizational vision. People have personal visions. No one's going to get to that organizational vision without understanding their personal vision, and it's got to be something they can see, feel with emotion in the future, putting themselves in that house, that car, whatever it might be, that situation, donating to that charity. Put yourself there, imagine it, feel it, and then make it happen. We're the future of the agency building model, and once you guys understand that, everybody else that says they're virtual, doing this or doing that, understand that we have the ability to grow, and we have the infrastructure to absorb that growth. It's a big deal. You're going to put it together slowly in the beginning, probably, as you understand personas. You'll start to build a pipeline of, in the beginning, just random people. But as you start to develop your personas, it'll get more defined. That pipeline will mean more to you, and the conversion rates on the back end will start to climb as well. This is what you should visualize in your head. You're building a portfolio of digital agencies that spring out of your main office that you built, and from that, you're going to build a cash flow asset with passive income that pays you for many, many, many years, depending on how old you are. That can also, if you do this correctly, what a lot of us are trying to do, create generational wealth. And across the country, this is your territory, set up digital distribution across the country in a $1 trillion industry, what that means for you, your family, your inner circle, anything that you're going to do with that money as a tool. This is an incredible opportunity, you guys. So this is what we have for this week. We'll get more into in-depth, maybe platform or whatever else in the next couple of weeks to help you guys build your business. There's tons more to come from the WealthWave side. There's tons more to come from the company side, VF. Our team, we've got the people breaking out here. We're very excited. This is just the first wave. In the next 36 to 48 months, this is going to look like a dramatically different company. Put yourself in a position, root your organization right now to be able to absorb that growth, because when you get to a point of viral growth, we have to have somebody to take over these leads. The people that are organizing and structuring this correctly will get the leads.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was an incredible training. I hope you all got as much out of it as I did. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll open it up for any questions or anything that anybody has. Thank you so much.